next episode of Ted Lasso is here. Another brilliant episode, another brilliant example of good TV. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on the new episode, and spoilers ahead. So, the most disappointing thing about this week was the episode length. It was 44 minutes. I wanted to cry. But to be fair, they didn't waste a single second. The development of Nate this week, the coming out story of Colin, the relationship between Isaac and Colin. Um, Beard was funny. Roy had a huge episode. And I just found it to be a very wholesome episode. You know, the way Rebecca literally just told Roy to get over himself, stop acting like a miserable piece of shit, basically, and just accept your the be I don't know the way to word this. Stop acting like you're scared to do things or to act a certain way, and stop hiding away from the world. Basically, he didn't want to do a press conference, and he left it to Beard. It went horribly wrong, and obviously he got in trouble for it. You have one of my favorite moments, I think, of Ted Lasso yet. And it was sort of this moment, and it was all of Nate's story and what we've seen so far. His relationship with Jade. Obviously, she came over to the Olympic Stadium, West Ham's home ground, to basically have lunch with Nate. Rupert comes in, makes it out to be so awkward. He makes Nate out to be so low and that he doesn't deserve Jade, and he sort of subtly belittled him. It was so hard to watch and cringy to watch, and not in the cringy way, but you know, I loved how they subtly showed that Jade was understanding what was going on in that situation. And then for them, obviously, they won the West Ham game, which we didn't see, but they won. Um, and then you obviously see that they're going to be going out for drinks later, and you know something was going to be going down, something was going to happen, whether he somehow got with Jade or somehow invited Jade out, and then he would manipulate the situation where Jade would be pulled away from Nate. But it was very reminiscent of that. He had basically booked a private suite. He had invited two women. He wanted to destroy this woman who was making Nate the best version of himself since Ted. And I loved it. He literally just said, I need to go. I'm not going to be a part of this. Rupert looked at him, and you can tell he's probably going to get the sack soon because of that dismissal, that refusal. But I loved how he immediately just went to Jade, gave her a hug, and just spent, this is what I need. It doesn't matter what my chairman thinks. It doesn't matter what my boss thinks. And I think that what they've done with Nate's writing from episode 1 to this point has been some of the greatest writing, because that last shot of him in season 2, where he turns around and he's the face of West Ham, to the point of where we're in episode 9 now, 3 episodes left. He has refused Rupert. He's happy that Ted was at the game. He's on a different path now, and we know, yes, he's winning games with West Ham. But is it him? Is it the players? It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in these last 3 games. The best part of another incredible moment was obviously they were struggling in the Brighton game, but it was 1-0 at half time. Isaac McAdoo goes to punch one of the fans because he says the F word, fag, which is a horrible word in the sense of, fans believe they can say what they want. They can say whatever they believe, which I think is absolutely disgraceful. And I think someone did this in the real world. They're basically saying, support your team, stop throwing things, stop doing X, Y, and Z, and just literally come to do what you have actually paid yourself to do. Support your team. Don't belittle the. I don't mind. There was a Richmond supporter who was calling out Isaac and Colin. And then obviously it goes tension. Isaac kicks off in the changing room. Colin comes out to the team. And then they have a conversation at the end. It was a really, really tough episode for the two of them. Isaac, not as much in my opinion, because he was just more annoyed the fact that Colin didn't open, but it wasn't up for that. He shouldn't really be getting pissed off about that. It's up to Colin to speak out when he speaks out. I love how Ted gave a little speech, and he said that they need to be there for Colin whenever he needed to be. And yeah, it's we always get those nice speeches. We always get those moments. Sam being the captain in the second half. 10-man team. Colin helps him win the Brighton game. Um, it's very apparent that Jack and Keely are over because Jack's going to be in Argentina for 2 months. Just everything about this show, just they always know how to highlight important things. Every cast member and character and just everything they're about makes this season and series so realistic, so compelling, so enjoyable, and easily worth the wait every week. I truly hope, depending on how these last 3 episodes end, we get one more season because Roy is easily one of the greatest TV characters I've ever seen. I actually adore Ted Lasso as a character. His little comedy quotes and stuff like that. Rebecca has become one with herself. Beard, I'm not the Beard's one of those characters. He's enjoyable. He will never be anything crazy, but he's just enjoyable. But altogether, I think it was a thoroughly enjoyable episode with great development moments. Exciting to see what goes forward, where they are in the league is obviously remains to be seen. And I just really want to see what happens between Ted and Nate going forward because that's the most important storyline that we're yet to see much of, but we've seen dabbles of it. Will Nate be at West Ham in the end? Will Ted and Nate work together again? Will they both be in a club end of the season? It's going to be intriguing to see what happens, but of course, I'll be back next week with more Ted Lasso. Subscribe and like. Goodbye.